care of the closing doors, please.
Welcome everyone. We're so happy to have you here with us today at the Wheels Museum on the Albuquerque Rail Yards. We're in the most iconic place in the city of Albuquerque or the state of New Mexico, and we're thrilled to have you all here. My name is Leba Freed. I'm the volunteer president of the Wheels Museum. I started this project 30 years ago, and we have grown tremendously and very successful and hoping to grow more all the time. We're an all-volunteer organization. I have with me today Ronn Perea, who's been a long-time friend. We went to high school together, and he is a long-time volunteer and very prominent person in New Mexico who has written several books. He talks to us many times in wonderful, interesting presentations that we have for the public, all kinds of events. And he's here today. He's going to talk about and some of the other work that he does here at Wheels Museum.
You heard her. She's giving me the right to talk.
Move your hand.
And so, my name again is Ronn Perea, and I am a historian, author. How are you? How's it going? Good to talk to you. You have the questions, Leba? I got the answers.
All right, I have the questions. I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about one of our most interesting and important exhibits, the Alvarado Hotel. Some of us old-timers know about it, but younger people may not know the importance of Fred Harvey and the Alvarado Hotel.
The hotel itself was at First and Railroad Avenue. That was the very first road down the center of Albuquerque. In 1926, it was at First and Route 66. And then in 1964, it was First and Central. But from that structure came New Albuquerque. It was put there because at the turn of the century, 1900, Albuquerque had one of the worst reputations in the Southwest as a lynching town. And so they built this hotel to modernize the image by building the most modern structure, most modern materials, because up to that point in time, all of the hotels lasted maybe 15 years before they would all burn down. There was never a fire at the Alvarado due to the materials, cement, marble. You should have seen the tiles of the roof, all the modern materials. Never had a fire. And so the modernness of that structure allowed Albuquerque to grow in a fashion that everybody would appreciate. And soon, you would imagine the president would come in 1911 to announce, hey, Mexico, you're now the 47th state. And right on his heels was a buddy of his, maybe you've heard of him, called Teddy Roosevelt. And then on his heels, hey, come on, who in the Southwest has not heard of Pancho Villa? And then, of course, there was World War I, which was the booming aspect of this hotel because the war traffic built up that one-block hotel. Why? Because by the end of World War II, it was 3 blocks long, 2 blocks to the south. And so, did I bend your ear, Leba, enough?
It's great. We want people to come and see. We have a very beautiful exhibit, 3D exhibit of the Alvarado Hotel, and we have original dishes and tools and many, many things that were used in the Alvarado Hotel that really make us understand the beginning of the modern Albuquerque.
And one of the things I haven't even talked about yet is, for the guys out there, the Harvey girl.
Yes, and there were 100,000 girls brought by Fred Harvey to the West. I'm reading a book about it right now, and you've written extensively about it, who came to serve the customers on the train and beautify the West in many ways and marry the cowboys and make us a beautiful town.
And what happened to some of these Harvey girls had made history. You'll learn all about that.
We're so thrilled to be able to say that we're a completely volunteer-run organization. And I just applied to the ARP publication to do an article. I'm hoping they will accept it. And the premise of my article is the age of our volunteers. We just had a man who was 90 have to quit. He was our archivist. But many of the volunteers are between 70 and 90 years of age. And they're very active and very important to us. And they do everything from greet visitors at the door to put on events. They make exhibits. We have in the place. So we have many professional people who are volunteering here, and certainly we'd like to honor Ronn Perea today. He has served Wheels Museum for 5 years, and he is so devoted, and he comes on Saturdays and Sundays and any time, and he helps people to understand the importance of this rail yard. And I'm hoping that Ron would talk a little bit about being a volunteer here at Wheels Museum.
Yes, based on what you just said though, this is the opportunity to insert that this museum definitely can use the young bloods. Like she just said, most of the volunteers here are well matured, but the young bloods, such as the guys behind this camera, they will be able to serve a long time at this museum and eventually take over.
That's so right. And also, that's very important, we also mentor young people. So we have students as young as 13 years of age whom we mentor. We teach them how to run the trains and do many of the interesting that we have here at Wheels Museum. And we do have people in their 30s and 40s and many ages. So we feature anyone in the community who is interested in saving our history and our culture and redeveloping this very important 27-acre site owned by the city, the rail yards.
And if I may insert, the young bloods make know why this would be important to you. It's because it will give you excellent credentials to move on in your life and career. And by simply being involved, if you don't eventually take over running the museum, the credential alone will be superb in advancing your careers.
That's right. We've worked with UNM Museum Studies and many departments of CNM and UNM, so he's absolutely right. We do give recommendations to people who have worked here, and that has been very helpful to many of them to continue their careers.
And there's also my number one 13-year-old volunteer. And I always tease him that decades from now, Leba, when you retire,
Sure.
he is going to be old enough to take over
Well,
for you.
that's right. And when we do presentations and events for children, I always ask them, how many of you would like to work in the museum? I've never had one child who did not raise his hand. So it's a very exciting, unique museum. We're growing all the time. We're changing all the time. We're looking for new ideas. We're looking for innovation. So Ron's absolutely right. It's not just the old people who lived through it all. It's the young people who want to make progress for the future.
They're essential. So if you're out there, we want to hear from you.
Yes. And I want to make a little challenge to everyone. If you call me at 505-243-6269 and you tell me what the acronym WHEELS stands for, and you come in to see us, I'll give you a prize.
Oh, and by the way, if you're going to call her, don't call her late for dinner.
We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your suggestions, your ideas, anything that you have to provide to our community to help us. We're here to listen.
Oh, then if you're talking about giving gifts, talk about Rick back there in the car.
Oh, we have a wonderful volunteer, and if you bring children in and they can answer a question for a scavenger hunt, they'll get a prize. We do give free train whistles. We give coloring books. We are sponsored by Rail Runner. They help us.
And he gives you little model cards.
Gives model cards. The city of Albuquerque is working with us now, and they've given us all kinds of wonderful things for children, books, and we also have a free library for children for books, and we give other books away. So we're here to help each other and to make progress and inspire our community.
And I bet a lot of you have seen this museum many times on television and don't even realize it. Do you know that this is used for backdrops in countless TV shows and movies galore, and you haven't even recognized it?
Wheels puts out a quarterly newsletter, and it lists all the events that we are doing. So if you'd like to be on that quarterly newsletter, please call us, again, 243-6269, and give us your email address. And you will be invited to countless interesting events. Ron puts on fabulous events. He's going to be doing the Baton Death March.
May I say something?
Please tell us about that.
I'm officially summoning all New Mexicans because of our emphasis and participation of one of the worst World War II tragedies that New Mexican troops were forced to undertake. On April 13th this year, will mark the exact 82nd anniversary of the Baton Death March. And I have photographic as well as many recountings of that tragedy that befell our 200 and 515th New Mexico National Guard troops who were in the Philippines at that time. And I am summoning all New Mexicans because just because you are a Nuevo Mexicano, you are required to know the details. And it's all going to be concise, backed up with horrible photos, but photos that you have to consume that Leba has authorized me to show. And so it's your first hand. You got to. I wouldn't advise bringing the kids yet, but I think you should know.
Thank you so much for that. That's going to be very important. And of course, we would love to have any of the families who have ancestors who experienced this tragedy with us to honor them as well on that day. So please let us know if you'd like to come to that event. On the 19th of this month, we are going to have a Shabbat dinner here. We have a rabbi coming and we're going to sing and have a potluck dinner. Everyone's invited to that at 5 o'clock. So if you'd like to come to that, please let us know. We need an RSVP so we know about the food and who's coming. Children, of course, are welcome. It's a lot of fun. They sing in the train cars and go around in the train cars and they see the museum. On the 27th of this month at 2 p.m., we're having a man come named Pace Van Devender. He is a top person from Sandia Labs, and he's going to talk about dark matter. So you get the idea that we do many different kinds of events in here, and that's going to be a very special one. We're having Sue Hauser come on the 3rd of February, and she's going to talk about a book that she has written for children. We have Bob Vovee coming on the 8th at 11 o'clock in the morning, and he's a very famous guitar player and singer. He's been here before. It's always been a sold-out crowd, so we're very, very excited to have him. Let me see, what else can I tell you that you would love to know about? On the 10th and 11th, we are going to have the museum open. That's a Saturday and Sunday. That's a Valentine's. Also the rail yard market. So the rail yard market's open on those 2 days. So please come from 10 to 2 to the rail yard market and the Wheels Museum and have a lot of fun and buy all kinds of things and see the museum. There's not a charge for the museum. So that's one of the nice things that we do for the community. We do not charge people to come in. If it's a group or an event of some kind, then it's a different story, but if you just come in with your family, there's no charge. We do love to have donations, if you'd like to give us donations. We have several other events coming up, so please get our newsletter and check out those events. Also, we're trying to set up events all the time, so if you have an idea for something that you think should be presented at the Wheels Museum, from the history of New Mexico, or something that you think fits into our themes of transportation, history, culture of the West, please give us a phone call and let's set something up with you. We do support many clubs. Today the Truck Club is here. We have the Model Car Club. We have other car clubs coming in. All kinds of organizations come in and do events here. We've had weddings in here. We've had funerals in here. So we are looking.
Funerals?
Yes, a railroad man's funeral was held in here not too long ago. So that was a sad event, but it was very meaningful to the group that came in and they saw their relative, the history of their relative. So please think of us. Again, we want to work with the community and we're here to help. We're planning to do this podcast every week. And we are looking for people who want to be on the show with us and have interesting information to tell us about their family's history, about trains, about automobiles. We have a man who's on our board. He's going to do a show soon about auto racing. We talk to people about airplanes, bicycles, skateboards, anything that you have to tell us about transportation and the history here and the culture here. We'd love to have you on the show. The Wheels Museum is open 9 to 12, Monday through Thursday, 10 to 2 on Saturdays, and many Sundays. We're always please come and see us. We are located at the south end of the rail yards downtown, most iconic, important place in New Mexico. We're at 1100 South 2nd between Pacific and Cromwell. We have a long gray building. You can park in the front of the building, in the back of the building. You can talk to us about events and ideas that you have, bring in new people. So please call us 243-6269 so we can make sure that we save the most important site here, where 40 locomotives were repaired a month for decades, where 1,500 men to 2,000 men worked every day, where the neighborhoods of Morelos, South Broadway, Union Highlands, Martineztown were developed. Old Town was grown, the downtown was grown. This is the epicenter of our state, and we want it to be a world-class attraction here. And we're doing everything we can. We have over 5,000 exhibits items so far, and we want it to grow. So anything you have or want to tell us, we're here to listen to you. Thank you so much, and thank you to the producers. We really appreciate it. They're doing it at no charge to the Wheels Museum, and we're very, very grateful for this help and support.
One last thought.
Good.
May I?
Of course.
Once you get here, if you say, this place looks familiar, because you've already seen the place countless times on TVs and in movies. And so you'll see.
That's right. If you've seen Breaking Bad, if you've seen the Avengers movie, Transformers movie, we've filmed over 40 major motion pictures here. We're in the process of doing two movies right now, one in Wheels, one behind Wheels. So we work a great deal with film, the Film Academy, Media Academy, the State Film, City Film, private filmmakers. If you're interested in doing a film here, we're interested to talk to you. So we appreciate you.
And one last thought, if I may. Thank you. Thank you very much.